evening, everyone, and welcome to the University of Dundee Master of Education webinar. My name is Helen Spiropoulos, and I'm the Admissions Manager at Stafford Associates. And joining me this evening, all the way from the University of Dundee, is Marie. Good evening to you, Marie.
Hi there, how's everybody doing tonight?
Okay, and I can see that we do have quite a few of you that have joined us. Good evening to you. How we are going to conduct the webinar this evening is I'm briefly going to introduce you to Stafford and what we do. I'm then going to hand you over to Marie, who's going to chat about the program. And right at the end of the presentation, you will have the ability to type in any questions that you may have for me or for Marie. What I will be doing is looking at the questions quite carefully, because a lot of the questions are similar, if not identical. So we are going to be grouping them together. So do listen out for the answers. Okay, so let's get started. Who is Stafford Associates? Well, Stafford Associates was established in 1993, and we are a resource centre for distance learning education in the Middle East. And we are currently the resource centre for 5 UK universities, one of which is the University of Dundee. We do offer a variety of programs ranging from certificates to diplomas, bachelors, MBAs, M.Eds, right through until doctorate. So we really do have programs for all your personal and professional needs. Now, the fact that you are here this evening means that you have been in touch with one of our experienced academic consultants, and therefore our function at Stafford is to assist you throughout your application process, and we do offer administrative as well as some academic support. Okay, so I'm now going to hand you over to Marie, and I'll join you towards the end of the webinar. Over to you, Marie.
Thank you very much, Helen, and good evening. So, welcome to the University of Dundee. My name is Marie Beresford-Dey. I am the lead for students who are undertaking any of the M.Ed pathways via Stafford Associates. So, welcome, and it's good to see you here tonight. Just a little bit about the university before we take a closer look at the programme itself. So we make a difference in the world, and this delivers impact now and in the real world. We do this by working across subject boundaries, adopting an interdisciplinary approach and a team-based approach to both teaching and research, which enables staff and students to approach issues in innovative and challenging ways. We adopt an enterprising approach, and this is embedded into the curriculum that we offer on the M.Ed programme. We act locally and globally. We have students around the world as well as here in Scotland and Dundee. And we're a modern university working towards those 21st century problems and providing innovative solutions to them. And through that, we help to transform the lives across various disciplines. We have a high level of global reputation, as you can see from the rankings there, and we're very proud of this reputation. We have a substantial global reputation with students from over 150 countries around the world. In addition, no matter where you are in the world, we promote a real sense of community, and we feel that it's this that sets us apart. Dundee, we can offer you a learning experience with one of the world's top 200 universities. So, moving on to the Master of Education programme, the M.Ed is a professional development programme. It's undertaken at what we call the Level 11, and that means it's a master's degree, Level 11 on the Scottish Qualifications Framework. Please do note that although the M.Ed is recognised by the GTCS, the General Teaching Council here in Scotland, it's not a teaching qualification here, as different national governments have different prerequisites for teaching. You are advised to check this with your registering body, and probably speak about that a little bit more later. So an overview of the programme then, we teach all students equally, so whether you are part-time or a fast-track student, this enables us to provide some flexibility, and even though you're studying at a distance, you still have access to student support. It's an internationally recognised postgraduate qualification within education, as it's focused from early years right through to higher education, within the public sector to the private sector and to home tutors. So all aspects of education. So the benefits of an M.Ed, it's a programme of study that brings together theory with your practice. We pay close attention to that. It encourages you to draw on your experiences and align them with the literature. So it enables you to question why we do certain things and whether there are alternative ways to carry out practice, and therefore enhance practice and hopefully student outcomes. All of which help to develop and extend your confidence and enhance your professional career. As tutors, we are continuously seeing our students' practice being influenced by their learning at master's level. This inevitably benefits both the student, as in yourself, your students, and the staff who you are working alongside. Okay, so there's a few things that you can expect from us as part of the programme. First of all, we do offer you tutorials with your tutor. These are carried out regularly, and these take place either online tutorials similar to what you are experiencing just now, or with emails or any other platform that you can access within your country. We also offer local face-to-face workshops for the core some of the core modules, and along with the online learning and teaching aspects, then we do also provide you an opportunity for formative assessment. These will help you with your learning and provide an opportunity to obtain extensive feedback, and that will prepare you for the final assessment. So they come highly recommended. We also have the Academic Skills Centre, who will offer you support with academic writing, particularly if you're coming back into education after quite a lengthy break. Okay, so we have a variety of named awards, and to obtain a Master of Education, you'll need to complete 180 credits of study in any of the named awards that you can see on the screen there. The award of Leading Learning and Teaching, the top award there that's highlighted in bold, is our generic award, which provides subject flexibility within education. However, if you require subject specialism, you can see that we have a number of options available to you, from educational leadership right through to childhood studies. Each of the optional modules will enable you to carry out a study and assignment without being in a workplace environment, as long as you have relevant teaching experience to draw from. Again, you can see that we have a number of optional modules there, and some of these are directly related to the named awards. Each optional module is considered as a single credit module and is worth 30 credits. In addition, we also have 3 core modules: reflection upon practice, research methods, and the dissertation. The dissertation is what we class as the double credit module. It's the final module that you'll undertake as part of your master's degree, and that will be worth 60 credits. Okay, so to obtain a named award, so Master in, whether that's Leading, Learning and Teaching, what you can see there is the optional modules that's required to go along with the named award. So with the generic award, Leading, Learning and Teaching, then you can choose any 2 optional modules if you don't have exemption for any prior learning. And the dissertation topic for the Leading, Learning and Teaching is any relevant educational topic. So really is a wide variety of options for you there. Within each of the named awards that you can see below, what you can see is the optional module that you must undertake, or maybe that you've got a choice of 2 or 3, but as in the case of inclusion and learner support. But also the dissertation must also focus on the area of your specialism. So if you undertake educational leadership, for example, as Master of Education, you must undertake leadership change and organisational development, plus a further optional module, and then your dissertation must also be related to educational leadership. Okay, we also have the additional awards, and that links into the International Baccalaureate. And for these awards, once you commence your studies at Dundee, you'll need to register directly with the IB, and we'll provide you with guidelines for this process. We also have a dedicated member of staff who will provide you with IB support. There are no additional assignments for any of the IB awards, but you'll be expected to underpin your writing with IB publications. But again, we provide you with support for that. What you can see on the screen there are the 3 different awards that we offer alongside any of the Master of Education programmes. The first 2 of those are in relation to leadership. For the certificate level, there's no prerequisite of any IB experience. However, for the advanced certificate, there are 2 different pathways for that. So advanced certificates in leadership research. The first pathway is that you undertake the leadership practice, but then you progress into the advanced as a typical route. However, the second pathway, if you do have 3 years teaching experience in an IB school, then you do not need to take the same route as the leadership practice. And then finally, we have the advanced certificate in learning and teaching research. And for that, you must undertake the full M.Ed award, and you must also have 3 years teaching experience within an IB school. Okay, so what you can see there is the a typical part-time route, which also includes the IB Advanced Teaching and Learning Research route through. And so we'll start off on year 1, where you can undertake the PG certificate, and you can exit with that award after year 1. And you'll see that we have a core module plus an optional module. And then year 2, your second optional module plus a core module of research methods. At that point, if you wish to exit with a postgraduate diploma, you can do so. Or you can continue to year 3, where you will undertake your double credit dissertation module and exit with the Master of Education. And if all of that is underpinned by the IB and you have the prerequisite of teaching experience, then you will also obtain eligibility for the IB Advanced Award. Okay, so on to the Leadership Award. Now this slightly changes because of the initial postgraduate certificate and the requisites required by the International Baccalaureate themselves, in that you must undertake within the first year the Leadership Change and Organisational Development module, plus Reflection upon Leadership in the IB. So at that point, you could exit with the postgraduate certificate and be eligible for that Leadership Practice Award. And then in year 2, you can continue with a second optional module and research methods, And then finally, Year 3, which also must have a leadership and an IB award to obtain eligibility for the Advanced IB Leadership Award. Okay, so we have two options for the study duration. The first of these is a 30 credit, 130 credits. It equates to 20 weeks worth of study, and then the 60 credit, the double credit module, equates to 46 weeks of study, and that's for the part-time route. And that equates to our notional study time of approximately 15 hours per week. We also have the fast-track routes where you undertake 2 modules simultaneously over 20 weeks. So therefore we are doubling the notional study time. And then you can also see that the double credit, 60 credit module is reduced there down to 23 weeks. For the fast track routes, then we are looking at that notional study time of approximately 30 hours per week. So it is a significant undertaking to go the fast track routes, and I strongly advise you to consider whether you have the space to be able to complete at the fast track route if that's your preference, and it's quite useful to be able to plan how you might do that. So I have mentioned optional workshops. These are aimed to take place on the Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th of April. These are offered for induction at the start of the study and again for research modules. These are held virtually or locally in the UAE, and they are an opportunity for you to network, not just with the tutors but with other students as well. They enable you to understand what is required for master's level learning, particularly in the first few modules. And then when the research workshop that enables you then to start planning out the research methods and your dissertation study. What we do find from our students is that it does give them that greater sense of confidence about undertaking a piece of work at master's level. Okay, there's some feedback there on the bottom of the screen about how the information was organised, easy to understand. We do find that the feedback is extremely positive and is very useful to our students. Entry requirements onto the M.Ed. As mentioned, we do have 2 routes through. We have the workplace-based and the non-workplace-based. And for either of those routes, you must have an undergraduate degree, but that can be within any discipline. If your undergraduate degree was not taught in English, there is a requirement, English language requirement of an academic IELTS of 6.5 or equivalent. So if you're entering into the workplace-based route, you will also need to be working within a relevant setting. And if you are undertaking the non-workplace-based route, you must have previous work experience in a relevant setting for you to be able to reflect upon. This doesn't necessarily have to be current, because some of you may well be out of work for a variety of reasons at the moment. Feedback from our students across the board is very positive, not just the support that they receive, but also the prime factor for this is about how it helps to improve our students' professional practice, and through that being able to understand professionalism, what's required of them, and how to be critical in what they do to be enabled to take that teaching to or leadership to the next level. You can see there that there are the different tuition fees. So whether you're taking the full M.Ed or the PG certificate level, these are available as flexible monthly instalments. So please do speak to the team at Stafford Associates. And you can see that the deadline for the next cohort starting in April is Monday the 25th of March. So please do get your applications in. And right on cue, Helen has joined us. So thank you coming back, Helen, and hopefully we've got plenty of questions.
Good. Thank you so much, Marie. That was very informative. We have opened up the panel for questions, so please feel free to start typing up any questions that you may have. Okay, so I can see there's questions from Isabel. Can you please explain the difference between a full-time and a part-time route? What essentially is the difference?
The only difference is the time scale that you undertake the study in. The assignments are the same, there's no difference in there. All the assignments for single credit modules are a 5,000 words piece of writing, and for the double credit that's 15,000 words. So there's no difference there, but it is the time scale. As I say, for fast track you are undertaking 2 modules simultaneously, whereas part-time it's 1 module. And for the dissertation and fast track, then the time scale is reduced by 50%. So that is a difference between whether you can fit in 15 hours worth of study per week or 30 hours of study per week. So like I said, there's quite a significant difference there depending on your working hours, family background, and so on.
Okay, and Stephanie's question is, I have tried to log in with an IB role, but I am unable to proceed any further as the school I work in does not allow an IB curriculum. Is IB imperative for me?
If you are planning to work in an IB school in the future, then I would always say it's not imperative, but it helps your applications for your CV. And I wouldn't allow any technology to put you off. We do have, like I say, a dedicated member of staff here who will support you with that. There's not an expectation on the IB that you are currently working in an IB school. If you're on the leadership practice route, it also is for those who are aspiring to work in an IB school. So if there are difficulties with that, once you're a student with us, if you're not already, then please do contact our dedicated member of staff for the IB.
Okay, and Resh's question is that she does have quite a lot of working experience. She is actually a vice principal for many years. Unfortunately, I do not hold any qualifications. Can I still apply on the basis of my vast experience?
We do need an undergraduate degree to be able to access the Master of Education programme, but as always I would say return to the team at Stafford because they may be able to provide you with alternative options.
Absolutely. And John's question is, I do have another qualification, which is unfortunately not from the UK, but can you perhaps accept some exemptions?
Depending on the level that the qualification is, so if it's seen as equivalent to the Scottish Level 11, then we would enable you to obtain some credit exemption for that. So it must be undertaken at a master's level for us to be able to do that.
Okay, and John, very important, do send in your learning outcomes of what you have completed. That's very important for the university to see so they can map it accordingly. Okay. Venus' question is about the tuition fees regarding, the part-time and the fast track. Vina, please do get in touch with your academic consultant at Stafford, and they will be able to provide you with the fee structure for the standard route as well as the fast track route, and will be able to explain the differences between that. Okay, so do get in touch with your academic consultant. Hello, Zehra. Zehra is from Kuwait. Do we have all the sessions available online? or are there any textbooks that I need to purchase?
The module materials are all online, but we do expect at master's level that you will access alternative texts as well to support your thinking and your writing. These generally are available via the university library electronically. Occasionally, some of the modules may have a recommended purchase text, but that is only recommended. We don't expect you to do that. It's not mandatory. Because, like I say, the materials will be there, but we also have an extensive library that's available to you as well.
Okay, and I know we've mentioned this before, but Hans is very determined to put his question through. I do have an MBA, and I do have vast years teaching experience. Will you be able to accept me even with my MBA, please? Okay.
An MBA, yes, of course we will. You know, the minimum is an undergraduate degree, so with an MBA, yes, you've got the experience, you've got the qualifications, so I don't see why not.
Okay, so Hans, do try and send us your application as soon as possible, and we can send it through to Marie for review. Okay, and Mohammed's question is, what would happen if I fail one of the assignments? Will I be able to know where I have gone wrong so I can, do better the second time round?
Okay. Yes, sometimes students don't pass the first time around, but there is an option for a resubmission. So you'll be given extensive feedback on your first submission, and then you'll use this to strengthen the piece of work. It's the same piece of work, but you are just adding to it or rephrasing things or bringing in more theory to support what you're saying, and you'll have that chance for a second submission.
Okay, and Zechra's question is, do I specifically need a bachelor degree within an educational field, or can it be any specialization?
Yeah, a bachelor's degree in any discipline is perfectly acceptable with us.
Okay, excellent. And Saba's question is quite an interesting one. I have created an English program for a few French nurseries in Lebanon. Which pathway would you advise that I take? Are emotional intelligence and multiple intelligences included among other courses?
We don't have specific modules that are related to that, but they will come through in some modules. I certainly know emotional intelligence is in my leadership module. Multiple intelligence is not there, but there's nothing stopping you from extending your research there. And I'm sure they'll be there in other modules as well, but there's nothing that's specific to that. But it is about how then you use these theories in a wider piece of work. So sometimes we have to get away from a narrow focus on something, and let's just broaden that out a bit. So there's no reason why you can't bring that into many of the different modules.
Excellent. And Zechra, it seems that you do have the relevant working experience and you have a bachelor degree. So do get in touch with your academic consultant, and we can start putting your application together for the university. Okay. I would love to attend the graduation. What would happen if, unfortunately, I cannot? How do I obtain my degree certificate?
The certificate is posted to you, so you need to make sure that we've got the correct addresses. So if you move house or move home, then please do make sure that your records are up to date so that we can post it to the correct address.
Okay, I'm currently working in an IB school, and I do have quite a lot of work to do. So do you advise that I take a part-time or a fast-track route? And how many hours should I be dedicating to my studies on either pathway?
If you are working full-time, then I would suggest that you undertake the part-time route, because that's approximately 15 hours of study per week. The fast-track route is 30 hours of study per week, and like many educators, if you are working beyond the typical day, then you may struggle to include the fast-track routes within that working week. So my advice would be to undertake the part-time route. If in the future you feel that you can undertake the fast-track route, then we could swap that over for you. There's certain points in the master's degree where we can do that. And vice versa, if you decided to undertake the 30 hours fast-track route and found that you couldn't cope with the level of work that's required, there are certain points within your study where you'll be able to then revert to the part-time route.
Okay, and a very interesting question from Sarah. Will this M.Ed allow me to work in a university setting?
We do have university tutors who are undertaking the M.Ed, and we have people who are aspiring to be university tutors. So yes, but it does depend on the universities. Some universities require a PhD for teaching, others require a master's degree. So there's no definite answer there, but a master's degree is the first step to a PhD. So whichever way, you're not going to lose.
Can the next question from Latifa is, can I change my named award if I change my mind? And at what point can I change this name award?
Okay, this is where it can get a little bit complicated, depending on your named award that you're transferring from and to. So if you have undertaken, let's say, the Educational Leadership Named Award, for example, but then decided that you wanted the Leading, Learning and Teaching, the more generic award, we can change that at any time prior to you completing the programme. However, if you want to do it the other way around and you're on the generic award and you want to undertake the M.Ed Educational Leadership, you must have the leadership module, and you must have completed a dissertation with a leadership focus. So it depends which way round that you're going to do, make that transfer. But again, there's people at Stafford to support you with that, and there are people here at Dundee to support you also.
Okay, and Manar's question is quite a popular one that we get quite often, is how big is the dissertation? How many words would the university be looking for in a dissertation? And what would happen if I have less words than stipulated?
Okay, if you, the dissertation is currently 15,000 words long, and you get a leeway of 10% on that. So you can fall 10% under that word count and it will still be acceptable. If you go below than that, then there are differences in grades that we would reduce the grade by a certain amount, depending on how far under or over the word count you're at. I would say if you are under the word count, generally it's a sign that you haven't used enough of the theoretical discussion to support your understanding. But you will find, although 15,000 words sounds like a lot of words, it soon disappears when you've got to talk about all the different things that you need to talk about. And often one of the things that students come to us as supervisors is usually because they're way over the word count and finding it difficult to then reduce it to fit into the level required.
Okay, and Michael's question is, what would happen if I cannot attend any of the workshops? Would the information being passed out to students be available to me?
Yes, we have a platform that you have platforms for your module, but part of that platform is also for the M.Ed programme as a whole, and the materials are always available online via that platform. It's called the M.Ed Hub at the moment. Who knows, the name change may come in the future, but that's where we upload all the information. So although you don't get the full experience of meeting your peers and the tutors, you won't lose out on the actual information itself.
Okay, and Leslie's question is, I would like to start this program here in the UAE. However, if I decide to move to Scotland, will I be able to come and attend the lectures on a full-time basis at the university?
We don't have that option at the moment. We do have a campus-based option, but that is the master's degree takes place over a full academic year and you are here on campus. We currently don't have the option to transfer that over. However, if you are here, you can come and meet the tutors here. You can have your tutorials online, as well as just popping in to see us to have those one-to-one discussions.
Okay, and we have one final question, because we've managed to group all of them together. Does the university provide any documentation for me to come and get a visa and come to the graduation? Would the university support me on this?
We have various centres at the university who offer support, and I'm sure the team at our inquiry centre will be able to help you with that. We have the inquiry centre and we also have the international office, and both will be able to support you with that.
Okay, super. Right, well, that seems to be all the questions. I've managed to group them all together, all very similar, if not identical, so that's fantastic. And as Marie has said, we are currently accepting applications now for the next intake. The application deadline is in March. However, the program does fill up quite quickly. So I do advise that you try and send us your application documents as soon as possible. If possible, before the 15th of December, that would be great, before the university closes for the Christmas holidays. So do try and send all these documents to us as soon as possible. And if you have any questions, do get in touch with your academic consultant or myself, or again, Marie. You do have the emails there. Okay. Again, Marie, it was wonderful having you with us this evening, and for all that attended, thank you so much. It was wonderful having you and having all your questions.
Thank you very much. It's been good to be on here tonight, and some super questions as always coming through. So thank you to Helen for supporting that.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, and a good evening to you all.
Thanks, Helen, and everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.